Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed your break. Let's get back to our sessions. Our next speaker is Mr. Siji Sunny, Associate Vice President and Chief Cloud Architect at Toyota. As an entrepreneur, researcher, and open source enthusiast, Siji has been involved in software development and research across domains, including cloud computing, operating systems, system programming, embedded and mobile computing, text processing and language computing, as well as wireless and low-power wireless networking. Please put your hands together, everyone, for Siji Sunny.
Good afternoon, everyone. The same excuse, Mumbai traffic. So let's begin. Myself, Siji. I am the Chief Cloud Architect in Toyota. Are you audible? Hope I am audible. Currently, we are in the process of driving or launching a public cloud ecosystem in India as part of Toyota. I am driving the entire development lifecycle for Toyota in that direction. So before we begin, sir, I will be giving a brief idea about what exactly I am going to talk today and what are the critical components, sir, I will be covering in this today's session. Sorry. So if you look into the entire paradigm of computing ecosystem, either it's kind of it started with a desktop computer, then moved to server, then it's moved to cloud, then now it's called as edge. There are a lot of shifting, technology shifting is happening in last few years or last 10 or 15 years, right? How the journey is kind of began, what exactly mean by edge computing, and what are the critical components of an edge computing ecosystem, and also which are the critical innovations currently happening in this segment. These are the major elements I'm going to cover in this session today. Yeah. So before beginning, I'm sure all of you know the evolution of human beings. There are various evolution happened and we reached here. Same for the technology also. Many things, but many things we have noticed that many places we are going back to the old era. One of the critical examples is fashion segment. I'm sure you can easily correlate a lot of examples. If not, please look around. I don't want to talk much about that topic here. Right. The same thing is happening in the computing ecosystem also. If you look into early 90s or beginning of 21st century, all of you may know that we used to deploy an application, how do we run a website, how do we use to create a shared network, etc. I'm sure all of you may be aware of that, right? In this scenario, if you look very closely, before the cloud computing ecosystem being launched or widespread, we all used to run our applications or services within our own premises. There will be a small server deployed in there, and either this may connect to internet or not. That's the way we used to build the entire ecosystem, right? But by 2006, before the cloud launches, edge computing was already there in that scenario. One of the example is our CDN, Content Delivery Network. If you correctly remember, in 1998, Akamai came with the CDN solution. That is exactly one of the biggest example or beginning of edge computing ecosystem. I'm sure all of you know what exactly CDN is, right? In the CDN, the core difference compared to the current edge ecosystem is that CDN is only meant for images and videos, not for any other offloading, or we can say data offloading, right? Now the transformation has happened. Everyone moved towards cloud computing. It is easy to use, less maintenance, easy to scale, scalability point of view, all the point of view, everyone moved towards the cloud ecosystem, public cloud, private cloud, whatever the terms you used to call. But now again, people, organizations, developers are coming back to the edge ecosystem. Why? There are various reasons. The critical reasoning behind this paradigm shift is that because of the technology innovation. If you look into the old computer ecosystem, as I started my computer journey with 64 MB RAM, and 500 MB hard disk, and 200 megahertz processor. I'm sure many of you can easily correlate that terms where I am coming from, right? Now, that is not even in the mobile phone. Mobile phone is coming with 12 GB RAM and 8-core processors and everything, right? The technology shift made a lot of support or push for the edge computing ecosystem. This includes the chips manufacturer built-in intelligence into that, storage, compute, capacity, everything is increased, size is reduced, power consumption reduced, maintainability is reduced. That's where the shift has started. Now let us come to the detailed technical view of the edge computing ecosystem. I'm sure everyone knows what exactly edge computing and everything. I'm kind of explaining everything, the points in detail. So if you look into the entire diagram, I have divided this into 4 layers. Okay, let's start talking about the first 3 layers from bottom to top. 3 layers, basically, first layer is that kind of, we can say, edge thing, or called as IoT. The second layer is basically the edge devices. The third layer is edge data centers, basically edge data centers or edge devices. And the fourth layer I'm going to talk about is the cloud. I'm sure everyone knows what cloud, and how this integration is required, mandatory for any kind of edge ecosystem. Let's start with the bottom layer, edge things, or we can say IoT components. If you look into any innovation happened in the industry, in technology segment or in IT segment, software segment, the key component was data, right? If you're talking about cloud, edge, anything, the core part is data. That is the core part for any, either your application, either you're offering a service, data is the key thing, end of the day, right? So in this segment, what I am categorizing that, which are the data sources which usually comes under the edge ecosystem. This is basically the data coming from the IoT devices, which can be from scanner, which can be from sensors, which can be from various other ecosystem, right? This data being generated, and massive amount of data being generated, maybe fraction of second or fraction of millisecond, fraction of nanosecond. That data being generated for various reasons. It can be industry automation, self-driving car, lot of use cases. I'm sure you know that, right? This data is getting generated. Then there is a mechanism to send processed data for some certain use case or to meet some certain use cases, right? So next layer will be that this data can send to an edge device. Here I call it as edge device. This can be a smartphone, this can be a tablet, this can be your laptop. Okay, this data can be processed to this smartphone, tablet, or laptop, and this communication can be established through Bluetooth, NFC, or a lot of other technology. I'm sure you know that. I'm not covering all the technologies here. So this edge device either working as a mediator to transfer this data from one source to other source. Earlier scenario, now a lot of edge device also doing a lot of processing, because if you consider the mobile ecosystem, GPU is common across all the mobile ecosystem. So some kind of processing may happen there, or it may hand out to the next layer, okay, handshaking between this edge IoT devices and the edge data center or edge device will happen. Okay. Now the data being moved to the third layer, that is basically we call it as edge. Okay. This can be data center, this can be gateway, this can be an edge which is sitting at your home or sitting at your office or sitting at your pocket, right? So here the major processing will happen if you consider the scenario of mission critical data in IoT segment or any other segment. That processing will happen there at the edge layer, and it will give the response to the end user very quick and fast through the other medium edge devices or other IoT devices. Now the fourth layer is that cloud. This is standard cloud, but again there has to be to have a rigid architecture for edge. There has to be a cloud connected, because even though we are talking about processing, storage, everything is capability being increased drastically in the edge ecosystem, still we have a lot of limitations. We all know that the limitations in the edge ecosystem, right? So there has to be interlink between the cloud also, which can be for storage, future analytics purpose, or which can be withdrawn or in later stages, that can be moved to the cloud ecosystem. So this is the basic overview of how the edge ecosystem looks like. And as per your requirement, these components may get fine-tuned, maybe edge device may not come in the picture. Many use cases you may not recommend to go to cloud. Many use cases you may say that, okay, no, I want to have the edge within my premises, not connected to internet. All the uses will come in the picture. So now, why we have to consider edge in your ecosystem? Either you are an application developer, or you are launching a product, or you are running a data center. Why we have to consider the edge? There are two key components which will be being offered by any edge ecosystem. The first thing is performance, second is security. What does performance mean by? If you look into any kind of mobile or web application or any services you are offering, one of the critical components is the latency. I'm sure everyone understands latency, right? If you're watching YouTube and you are getting this, the buffering, you will get frustrated. You call the internet service provider immediately, but net nahi chal raha hai. I used to do that. My son used to do that now. Right? Now, this is one of the critical parameter we all consider. If even though the person doesn't understand technology, they understand buffering means kya, what exactly buffering means. There is an issue with internet connectivity. Right? This is one of the key issue across the border. There is a statement recently came in my organization. There is a fiber cut happened in our data center. So the statement was that Jio is down. Reason, fiber cut down. We can't do anything. We are completely helpless. If the fiber got disconnected, we can't do anything. Either you are Mukesh Ambani or I am Siji Sunny, we can't do anything. Fiber disconnected. We can't establish a company. We have to go for other medium and everything, right? So in the same scenario, latency is one of the key component or measuring parameter for any application or any services which you are offering to third-party customer. So edge will be help you to overcome this thing, because the edge will be always sitting very close to your network or maybe within your network. That way we can improve or we can overcome the latency challenges. This will improve the user experience, of course, and the critical point is that bandwidth optimization. I am sure who are into cloud segment, you understand how much you have to pay for ingress, regress, and everything. That is one of the key things across the public cloud ecosystem. You have to pay a lot of money for ingress, regress. It's bandwidth consumption. This also can be overcome. This will automatically reduce the cost. The second key component is the security point of view. Security point of view, if you consider the scenario, the entire edge ecosystem running in a local network, or it's a controlled network within your premises, within your control, you don't have to really worry about much the security which is happening over the internet. DDoS attacks, or phishing activities, everything can be bypassed because you are in private network owned by you, right? Or which is completely under your control. I can put it a different way altogether, right? Second is the privacy strategy. That is one of the major concern. Even Government of India is highlighting to various cloud providers. Privacy is one of the key things that where your data be stored, where your data being hosted. Are they safe? Are they not being misused? These are the concerns everyone having nowadays. DPRD policies come in India. So this is one of the key things everyone concerns about. Either it's 𝗣𝗲𝗄𝗏 segment or it's a enterprise. All people are concerned about this parameter. So this can be overcome by this thing. Now, I'll be quickly walk through the different types of edges. Again, this is a functional definition which I am kind of going to explain. I have divided this into two types, private edge and public edge. Right? If you look into the entire diagram, in left private edge, this exactly what I told you, that the edge ecosystem will be running in your premises, within your control. You have the full control on the entire network, plus the server, plus the data storage, plus everything. Also, you will be able to define that what kind of connectivity or what kind of process you have to do with the cloud ecosystem. Like, it may not be necessary that the cloud has to be connected 24/7. You may connect only once in a while, or every midnight you connect for doing some kind of data updation or data sync. Rest will be happening only over the internet. So this can be inside your local network, or this can be a WAN, maintained by your own organization or your own company. there won't be any dependency on the cloud in this ecosystem. I mean to say, I will explain why dependency of the cloud in another diagram. And this interconnectivity between the edge and the edges and the cloud will be predefined by you. Policy and everything can be defined by you. This is we call as private edge. Now, from the connectivity point of view, from the devices, even again, I am taking IoT as a use case for every edge use cases. The devices that can be communicated to the edge ecosystem by using various protocols, either using LAN, Wi-Fi, LoRa, Bluetooth, all the possibilities which we have. Then higher level, we can connect through the internet or all the standard 4G, 5G, or PPN connectivity, everything we can establish. In public edge ecosystem, what exactly we are trying to do that, this edge will be publicly hosted. You are consuming some certain nodes from the public ecosystem. The complete management layer being into cloud. I'm talking management layer, not control plane, data plane. The management plane will be in cloud, and you can consume the edges whatever the way you want. There are advantages and disadvantages for this. Scalability point of view, this edge can communicate each other through internet. This also will be always in sync with the cloud ecosystem. Move on to next slide. Few innovations which is kind of happening in the edge segment. The first point, all of you know, AML, all of you know this term is kind of very much popular across globe. What benefit it will give you from edge perspective point of view? So there are two aspects for this. One is that, again, the edge will be always very close to the data source. So if you want to do any process, it can do much faster than going to a internet and getting the process happening in the cloud ecosystem and getting the response. The first point. Second point, if you look into the chip revolution, the IC, chip, or we can say processor revolution, things are getting integrated into chips directly. If you on the journey from CPU to GPU to now NPU, neural processing unit, and a lot of chips are there in the industry. The chips only can do image processing algorithms. That way, the world is moving towards the chips, small in size, low cost. This all will drive the AML ecosystem much faster. Now, edge cloud integration I already covered in this thing. Security, privacy enhancement also will be one of the key components. Everyone has to address a lot of innovations happening in this segment. Decentralized infrastructure, this is basically, again, this is kind of, I'm sure everyone knows about the decentralized computing ecosystem, a blockchain, or various technologies running in the ecosystem. There, edge can play a key role. The last 2 points at data marketplace, I'm sure what exactly, you know about what exactly mean by marketplace, data marketplace. Data marketplace, nothing, we can consume data through APIs by paying somebody. It can be government data, it can be private data. So this data marketplace within edge ecosystem can play a lot of role in upcoming years. And last part is edge as a service. If you look into any public cloud ecosystem now, they have the feature called edge as a service. You consume this edge. This is, again, the public edge which I was talking about in the previous diagram. Public edge can be edge as a service. Yeah, that's all. If you allow, I'll take 1 or 2 questions. Otherwise, I'm here for a couple of hours. We can have one-on-one discussion on any topics. Any questions?
Sorry, sir, we don't have time for questions, but thank you so much. I'll request you to stay back.
Thanks a
May I
lot.
request Mr. Ajit 𝗘𝗱𝗴𝗲 to join us on the stage to felicitate him. Mr. Ajit 𝗘𝗱𝗴𝗲? Yes.